Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And today, it's time to take a look at Souei, the brand new Souei, the Swift Shadow Oni, and his just disturbingly powerful kit, as I'm going to keep calling it. And also, if I call him Benimaru in the showcase, just know that I'm talking about Souei. I'm gonna mess it up probably at least twice in my runs when I'm not thinking. So just be prepared for that. You don't need to correct me. I know I'm stupid. He is magic, he is dark, he uses a dark katana, he has attack growth, he has an AoE magic ult and lowers pierce resistance. His first skill, 70% attack buff for all magic allies, so you are a little bit limited to that, but it's not that limited when it's half the game. And then the second part is he gives guaranteed synergy power for 50%. And if you use more than 300 skill points in a single turn, it becomes 100% synergy power. It's only for the synergy power, it does not affect the attack buff, but, that is a 170% total kind of buff coming off of one skill, just like Elmezia is giving, but, different things. His second skill is an orb change, but it converts any two non-blue orbs to blue. So it'll change a special convert like this, it'll change two greens, it'll change two oranges, it will change any two colors to blue with a 10% gauge increase. And it's unrestricted. You don't have to be a certain element, you don't have to be a certain force. It's just, I have a blue orb change. And it's not a specific color, which is great. Absolutely great. His Valor trait does seal attack skills, which, may be useful here and there. His actual trait, not as useful. 6 combo blues, you get extra pierce power. Cool, fine, dandy. He doesn't need dupes at all. So if you pull one of them, you don't need to put shards. You don't need to pull a second copy. He's going to be just fine. And his EX board needs Hakuro, so we're not learning anything new about the final character, unfortunately. But this Souei, I think, for any Magic team now, or going forward, is going to be very, very impactful, unless whatever stage you're currently fighting against has synergy resistance, and a lot of it. That's the only way that this Souei is not going to be super uber duper strong. But a 70% attack buff for magic allies is still very generic, and it's very hard to seal that. So he's going to be really good. Let's find out how good he is. Okay, so this is the team that I was running prior to Souei coming out. We're on turn 9, so not perfect. But we do have, the Albus Pierce Resistance down debuff, plus her Orb Change, the Violet buff, Momiji's own buffs. We've got the Weakness Strike already applied from Blanc, and then we've got Elmezia. This is, pretty top tier damage. It can still go higher, but, let's just see how much Momiji does here, with 10 stacks of Benimaru plus the Pierce Power and all that. And she does 11.2 million, or 12 sometimes over there. Okay, that's really good damage. Now, let's come back and let's check out how much Souei adds to that power. Okay, so here is the team. We've simply swapped Albus for Souei. It's still everybody else. But now, because we have Souei at 25 points, he can convert this turn 1 without having to use the more expensive Violet, which does matter. So again, he changes any color. So the fact that it's 1 orange and 1 green doesn't really matter to him. It could be 2 greens, it could be 2 oranges. I expect that Jubilee fights will have probably a special convert and then a dedicated double orb change that you're going to have to play around with. But if we send this, let's take a look at the next turn. He's going to make things run pretty smoothly, because if we get 3 greens, we can still run the team. Because, we have Violet changing 1 green and 2 oranges, and then Souei could... Okay, so here, yeah. We don't have enough points to do it, but we could if we needed to, and if we had the points. So we have 58. It's going to cost more than that to use this. So I think what we do is we just are going to send these oranges and get them out of the way. And then we'll come back for maybe another turn down the line where we can really see his orb change in action. So give me a second. Okay. I had to reset because I'm just getting some really crap luck in these runs. But we're back on turn 3. We have 108 skill points, and we have a hand that looks pretty terrible. So if we alt swap away with Blanc, it leaves us with 2 blues. Now we know that Violet is only going to change this orange and one of these greens. But because Souei does not care what color the orbs are, if we bring him in, he will be able to change these two, even though, the first turn he changed one orange and one green, and his icon looks like he would just do that. Non-divine protection souls, which are not blue orbs. So these two greens are, bam, magically blues. And it would be the same if they were two oranges. So this is a very, very powerful orb change. One, because it covers, both colors. But two, is because it has no other restriction applied to it. Right? You don't have to be a certain element. You don't have to be on a certain force for them to change. It's just, hey, here's two more blue orbs for you. I don't care what color they are. And man, that kind of, deletion of orb RNG is nothing short of godly. So here, we're going to need him again, because, again, Violet's only going to change just one orange and one green. So while we don't need him, we're going to use him. But we do want to, well, actually, it doesn't really matter what we do here, so let's do this orb change. Alright, cool, it hit the orange, or it hit the green, so let's alt swap again. It does not work for alts. Be very specific about that. It does not change alt orbs to blues. It would have to specifically mention that in the description. Oh, that's not enough points. That's unfortunate. Well, oh well. It is what it is. We're still going to get some stacks out of here. This is the lineup I want for turn 4. But, this is why Benimaru is going to be useful for a lot of blue teams, is because he doesn't care what color your orbs are, and as long as you're a magic character, he also is going to buff the crap out of you. And if you can go to turn 8, it's going to be even stronger. Even stronger, which is crazy to think about. I'm going to have a hard time testing how much damage he gives between not turn 8 and turn 8. Okay, what is this? Okay, well, I don't know if we're going to get 10 stacks like we did in the first clip, but I don't think it's really all that bad if we can't. Jeez, yeah, my luck has been terrible in these runs. Hold on. Okay, we're back on turn 9. We are ready to go. We have 428 points. We're already sitting at 9 stacks, so I'm only going to use one of these Benimarus to buff Momiji, so we can keep it, up just about equal. But we've already used the Blanc buff, so she can come out and we'll just take her one orb. Or we can just use Almizia and make it a little easier. So Almizia buff, alt, and then alt resistance down. Excellent. And then she's got multiple orbs. So you can come in. And then we'll use the Violet. Actually, we can take Blanc out now for Souei. Yep. Alright. And then, Souei. Currently, it's only 50% synergy power, because we have not yet used 300 skill points. We've used 80. Congratulations. But we do need to use a few other things. So 8, 16, 24, plus the 100 from Almizia is 32. So if we do those first, and we go back and look at Souei's skill, it now says 100%, because we've satisfied the condition of 300 skill points. The effect is doubled, 50 to 100. So now we're at 70% attack, 100% synergy power. We're going to have 100% pierce power from Benimaru, plus the final stack. So now 100% plus the 70, and and Momiji has 100% weakness strike, 100% magic attack, 100% chance to pierce, 70% fire, 100% synergy rate, 70% attack, 100% synergy power, 100% pierce power, 170% alt damage, and then the enemies have 100% alt down and 60% synergy down. And yeah, actually, we'll send... no, actually, I don't want to send Benimaru first, because he's going to just kill. Well... He only has a normal ult. Alright, let's send him first. Let's turn the animations back on so we can see his ult. And he'll also now technically lower pierce resistance, so that is going to be an extra buff that the previous run didn't have. Guys, it's it's not really going to matter all that much. Let's see how much a normal orb for Momiji does. And she does 368. Souei's ult looks good. It looks really good. So I'm really glad that these characters, while not maybe the most hype things in the world, they have pretty good kits, and they have really good-looking animations. Whirling Shadow Slash. He does... Oh, he just killed. That wasn't even an EX ult, so he would have done 6.4 million right there. Okay, well, I'll pull it up on the stream. Hold on a second. Okay, so this is what we did on stream after he came out. So we went from, you know, the 13, 14 million, somewhere around there. I don't even actually remember what we were doing. To 22.5 million damage. 22.5. That's crazy numbers, and I've already seen TM and Nature. They're doing 30 million with their level 120 Momijis, and, you know, like, this is actually disgusting numbers of damage. Like, Nature he did 100 million damage total on turn 10 of Beatdown Battle. 100 million with the addition of this new Souei. This is nutty. Absolutely nutty amounts of damage. So now that we've seen, you know, this technically, let's see how powerful it is at just 50%, and we'll just use the buff early, and then, you know, use everything else. Because his buffs are able to be held, right? It's an attack buff, and it's a synergy power. These are not things that are debuffs, they're not things that affect orbs, they are just buffs on the character, which means that we could use them early and hold them in the back, like we can, like the magic buff, or the weakness strike, or Momiji's fire buff and pierce rate. Like, we have a lot of holdable buffs, to where if we get the ult from Momiji really early, we can just use a couple skills and send her away, and she'll still have access to it. So yeah, let's see how much power we're going to get out of a 50% synergy buff instead of the 100. Okay, we are back on turn 9. We're sitting at, I think, 8 stacks right now, so yeah, we'll use both of these Benimarus to get back up to 10. But we have already used Benimaru's skill, so Momiji's only going to have 50% synergy power as of now. We've also used the weakness strike, so she can just come in for Blanc. And yeah, that's it. Just bring her in. Okay, so let's get the 2 stacks on, and then we'll activate everything else. Now, obviously, this is not going to do 22 million damage. It's still going to do a lot, and more than what we did with Albus, but not 22. And we're also not going to have the ult effect from Souei. Not that we saw it anyways, because he just killed everything last time. But this will still be a very, very, very impressive number. And we technically could send Elmisia first, because she also has an effect. The same effect, actually. But, will they kill? Will they kill? I mean, she doesn't have type advantage. She's not on the team. I guess we could try and send her first now. If it doesn't work, I'm going to hate my life. Please don't kill. Alright, good. Okay, so 15% magic resistance down, and now we do 18.9 million damage. 18.9. How much did we do? Let me pull the clip up from the first run. 18.9. This one did... nope. Nope, not quite. 11. 11.2 with Albus to 18.9 with Souei not at full power, and then it culminates at about 23 million damage with his full 100% synergy power buff. That is a huge progression in damage. And, I mean, if you want to see crazy numbers, this is the team that's going to do it. You need a lot of characters to do it. Premium summonable, but by God, this team will put up numbers. Souei definitely helps out Momiji. He's going to help out a lot of teams. Let's try something else now. Okay, so since we don't have access to the Visions of Coleus beatdown battle, we're going to go into Light Tempered Edge of Eldora. We're going to nuke with Jean today. You know, not type advantage, but we will get the synergy from Lumi, we'll get the attack stacks. She has her own synergy power buff, which is going to be grossly overshadowed by Souei's, because again, as long as you are a magic team, you are going to fully benefit from Souei's kit. And you also need synergy, which Lumi is guaranteeing. So we've got, attack buff, 100% synergy power. The weakness strike isn't going to matter here for at least Jean. It would matter for Blanc, so I mean, we could nuke with her too. Actually, it might be better if we do that with her. Because she'll get everything, right? Just not the space resistance down. Yeah, not a big deal. Yeah, let's nuke with Blanc instead. And then the magic buff, and then the 170% ult damage we're getting from Jean herself. So yeah, I think Blanc's gonna hit like a goddamn truck in this stage too. And she already did. It's just now it's gonna be even harder. Okay, so this team, Visions of Coleus, is still a good team, right? The combination of Blanc, Violet, and Jean by themselves is very powerful. We're using Visions of Coleus Rimuru for the Rainbow Orbs now, so we can really rush the ult. And we have a lot of orb changers, right? And we're not even bringing another support, like a damage support. Rimuru is purely here for converting and to give us the EX ults very easily. So we're going to rush through this at super speed, because, it's a stacking team. But I just kind of want to talk through it, and that's, Benimaru, right here. He can change these two orbs, no matter what color they are, and it just kind of depends. We're looking for him to change the Blanc, so we're going to use Violet instead. But 28 points right there, we still have enough, boom. Alright, so now we can bring Rimuru, now we have that. So Benimaru's orb change is good for turn 1, right? And then that allows us to have enough points to use Violet and Rimuru turn 2, which is really good to see. And then this hand is, it's okay. It's not good for Blanc, so, I'm really grateful that we brought Rimuru for the Rainbow Orbs, because we're not getting anything for her right here. But this team is, example of how this Souei will impact older magic-focused teams, because this is a blue-focused team that wants to stack, that wants to go to turn 8, and it is also focused on using synergy. And as long as you're, you've got a need for blue orbs, Souei's got you covered. He can change these two, he could change 2 oranges, he could change 2 greens. We're going to use them right here. He is giving magic allies an attack buff, which this team currently does not have, right? Violet's magic, Blanc herself is weakness and synergy down, Jean is ult, EX ult, and space resistance down, and then her own weakness strike, or synergy buff. So no one is currently giving attack on this team. So we have a place for that buff from Souei. And then the synergy power by itself, it's either 50 or 100%. Either one of them is more powerful than what Jean is giving herself. So immediately, this team already ran fine with what we had available, in the game currently, and now I think it runs even better. So, bringing another converter, bringing another big-time support unit just means that we're going to hit really, really high numbers with old teams. And, maybe it's not the most ideal, but you could also bring the Souei on, a green-focused stacking team. You could put him with the Dark, 1.0, the first anniversary team. They are magic. They do need attack. You can make them use synergy. You could put Souei on, the light 3.0 team. This is the stage meant for that team, and we're not using it because, we would need a character to bring them synergy, which might be a little bit difficult. But, here, we have a perfect hand, right? Do a couple more stacks. Boom. We can use the alt swap, the orb change, and the magic buff. So, alt swap, orb change, magic buff. We'll send Blanc away. We have the EX ult, and now we've got a full hand with 115 points, and this will get us the 400. This is what you want to see in beatdown battle on turn 7. Unfortunately, it doesn't really work that way, because it took me 2 hours to record up to here. So here, we're on turn 8, and we are ready to nuke. But I'm going to slow this down, so give me a second. Okay. So, we've already used the magic buff. That's 80 points that we don't need to really worry about anymore. So in comes Blanc. And then in comes Jean for Violet, because, again, we've already used her buff. We have one more stack of Lumi to use. But the issue I have right now is that this 80 point, this 55, and that 80 does not equal 300 points, right, in one turn, which is what we need to activate Souei's true power. So what we're going to have to do, and we check that right here, it's only at 50. All ally synergy power by 50%. So we're going to need to use this orb change, which thankfully we have enough points for, and now it's 100 points. now it's 100% synergy power because we have crossed that threshold. So now we're at full power. We're only going to send the one Blanc orb and then her ult, and her orb does 222, and her ult does 4.5 million damage, which for a stage that doesn't have the extra 60% damage buff, I mean, this is almost a 1-year-old team. And, you know, Jean, I think in her beatdown battle was doing 10 million with type advantage and the extra damage buff. Blanc was putting up not quite these numbers in that stage, and now it's going to hit even harder. So when we do get the Visions of Coleus rerun, hopefully for the third Annie, we can use this again, and we can get some real dumb numbers out of it. But Souei really complements this team really, really well, because he's got the blue orb changing. He's got the buffs for the magic team. Half of the game, if not more, is magic focused. So he's going to be a really, really powerful, impactful unit for a number of teams, for a number of stages. Maybe not burst teams, because he's really expensive, and he only becomes, you know, full power after turn 8, which for some stages and some teams is just not realistic. But otherwise, I mean, I don't think you can go wrong summoning for the Souei and pulling him. I mean, you could always get shafted, right? But if you pull him and you have existing magic teams, he's only going to make them look better. He's not going to bring you down. He does not have like any kind of negative thing in his kit that I could really, really, truly nitpick. You know, the magic restriction right here, oh no, tragic. His traits, you know, not really important. I don't even have dupes in him, so I don't even care about this 10% pierce power. He's a fantastic unit all around, and I'm going to be praising this. You know, and it's funny because we've spent the last 2.5 years shitting on Souei. So I think that's good enough for his first showcase. Obviously, he's going to be used in a lot more scenarios, so this will not be the last you see of him, but I think it's enough to go through what he's giving and what he has the potential to give. So let me know what you guys think about this new Souei. I think he's fantastic, but, you know, let me hear your opinions. But that's it for me, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.